took me a whole year before I could even say my brother's name without bursting into tears. It took me over a year. That's how my heart was broken.
It's funny, I look back in hindsight now, and the first time I ever heard of the drug heroin was right in my own neighborhood. I was 9, not even 10 years old, and a friend of mine who lived directly across the street played together every day. One of my best friends, we got the news one morning that they found his father in the bathtub. He had overdosed and died from heroin. And at the time, I mean, 9 years old, we didn't even really process it. We knew the difficulties with the crack epidemic and how that affected the neighborhood, but no one had really heard of heroin, and or just knew how deadly it was, really until that morning. And I can't fathom how he dealt with it.
That it was really hard to beat. That one drug has a psychological addiction and one has a physical addiction, and that heroin has a physical addiction, and that it made you physically ill when you tried to come off of it. That there were some things that happened actually to your body when you tried to come off of heroin, and that's why they had methadone clinics to try to ease some of those symptoms and aid people in getting off that drug. I knew that it was a hard drug to get off of.
I tell people all the time, if I had to be an addict, I'd rather be a crack addict. I really would, because heroin, it's a physiological addiction. Your body has to have, I've seen big, strappy, young guys, about a few years younger than you. Big dude, cry on my shoulder because he didn't want to wake up another morning sick. Crying, I can't, you gotta take me somewhere, give me some help. There's no way to take somebody in the middle of the night for help here. Nowhere.
But my male friend in Minnesota that I met, that's what he did. They had an article on TV about that. And I just saw how people, looked.
Yeah.
And, being on them drugs.
Yeah.
The opioid epidemic has impacted thousands of families across the country, and the St. Louis area has not been immune to the problem.
50 people died from opioid-related deaths in the St. Louis area alone, and those numbers continue to grow.
In 2016, nearly 3 Missourians died every day from opioid overdoses.
To nearly 300 opioid overdoses in Johnson County so far this year, and the crisis is only getting worse.
St. Louis County declared the opioid crisis a public health emergency.
The county is one of 11 counties and cities in Missouri suing over the opioid crisis.
It blames several pharmaceutical companies for the long-standing epidemic.
Opioid epidemic, these overdose deaths of young people, it's insane.
I think we know there's a national epidemic in opioids.
We talk about it all the time.
Developing story, St. Anne police are looking for a dealer who's lacing drugs with fentanyl. This after 5 people overdosed at the same time in the same house this morning.
It's important to recognize that today we are seeing more people killed because of opioid overdose than traffic accidents.
Because we can have all the blue ribbon committees we want, but if we don't get tough on the drug dealers, we're wasting our time. Just remember that. We're wasting our time. And that toughness includes the death penalty.
Yondo.
You know, this is evident that racism has impacted every nook and cranny of American life, and particularly this, that part of the problem that we have, that we're dealing with now, number of young people out carrying guns, using drugs or stuff, is because black people were criminalized for crack, sent off to prison, fathers literally separated from their children. So it wreaked all kinds of havoc on our community. So all we're getting now are crumbs from the table.
You know, epidemic that, you know, is being addressed by the president and everybody else in this country. We've been dealing with the opioids in the community as long, you know, as far back as the 70s. You know, they had methadone. You know, they've never really done anything to eradicate this problem. You know, so now there's an urgency about it, but I only wish that that urgency to eradicate that problem had come sooner. Maybe my brother would still be alive. You know, I wish his life mattered. I wish our lives mattered enough, you know, that it wasn't a crisis now, that it was a crisis back when they had to give people methadone because they saw that they physically couldn't get off of this stuff.
You're not gonna solve this problem overnight. You have to recognize people's humanity. These are human beings. These are folk that used to work jobs, used to sit in classrooms. You know, they were responsible people who had mortgages, took care of families, paid car loans. Very, very responsible people. None of these folk were born heroin addicts. So you have to engage them on that level as if they're human beings. These are human beings. I'm going out here to meet my brothers and sisters and spend time.
No. So it's 10 times worse now, but it's still always been bad. It's always been bad. And I just hate that, you know, some people value more than others. I hate that. I wish that my brother had mattered to somebody.
There was a young lady out there, her name was Felicia Nash. Caught up real bad. Beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. In her 40s, did a little stretch in the penitentiary. And she was just sort of out there, just doing things to do things, you know. And she was very belligerent toward us at first. Well, me in particular. You know, pastor, you fake, you this, she cussed me all the time. And we kept coming, so after a while, we got close, and her daughter overdosed and died. And I was just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I was able to talk to her, and we built a pretty strong friendship. In fact, and I have this on my Facebook thingamagoggy. My Facebook, I did a little video, Facebook Live. And she told this camera crew that was with us doing this documentary that I'm gonna marry him. I'm gonna marry McKoy. And it was the sweetest thing. She said, this is what she said. I'm gonna clean myself up, get myself together, and I'm gonna marry Reverend McKoy. And I thought it was the sweet. I'm like, wow, girl, I might marry you. You know, it was just that sweet. You know, it was just that sweet. So I said, listen, Felicia. And this is the phrase I use. She was a heroin addict too. I said, when you get ready to come out of the rain, give me a holler. And that's what I would tell people, because early on, I would go out and beg people, right? And have them meet me somewhere the next day, never show up, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So they're not ready. People aren't ready until they're ready. So I just said, well, here's my number. You call me. And one evening she called me. I'm ready. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of living like this. Come get me. Take me somewhere to rehab. It was after 6 o'clock. So I said, wow. But I couldn't tell her that, man. I didn't have the heart to tell her there was no place open. So I went out there on the track. She was on the tracks. Everybody out there, they had done this little, had a little party for her. Made her up, had lipstick on, nice little clothes. You know, they, put a little few dollars in her pocket. It was just the coolest little thing. So I was trying to tell her, Felicia, the place may not be open. She said, yeah, don't worry about it. They're going to be open. It's going to be all right. I said, okay, Felicia. So we went down to the Salvation Army on Washington. It's sort of a new facility down there. And I have a relationship with those folk. They've actually come out and walked with us before. And so I was able to sort of call and, get a few things expedited. I didn't want to completely abuse my relationship, but it was helpful. So we get down there, and it's like, I think there was one counselor there that day, and they couldn't see her right away. So they said, come back in an hour. So I said, Felicia, we'll go get something to eat. So I went to the bread company. And she had never been into the bread company. She thought we went to a 5-star restaurant. Because, they everything's techie now. They take your order and they give you this little phaser thing to buzz you or shock you or whatever it does when your food is ready. And that just kind of blew her mind. And we sat there and ate, and she just told me a lot about her life and everything. It was just, it was a moment. So the guy told us to come back in an hour. We went back when the hour was up, and everything had changed. It was like, whatever happened, they had a rough day. They were overwhelmed and just turned us away. Now, bear in mind now, she's ready. She's ready. She's ready. She cried so hard walking out of that building. Got in my car crying. I even did a video. In fact, when the Post-Dispatch did that little piece on it, they aired the video on their website. So, because I was angry, man. I just like, man, this what are you talking about? She's, this is what y'all do. Banker's hours. That's part of the reason we have the rate of overdose that we have, is because there's really nowhere to take people after 6 o'clock. So, almost as if God was mad too, it started raining. So we on our way back. She's crying, and I have to drop her off back on the tracks. I ain't got nowhere to take her. And she got out the car, just crying, just heartbroken. And I wanted to give her some money, but I know if I did that. So to make a long story short, less than 2 weeks later, Felicia was dead. She overdosed. Felicia Nash, gone. Because there was nowhere to take her. And she was ready. And she was heartbroken. She was excited about getting clean. And no more Felicia.
About 3 weeks before my brother died, a girlfriend of ours, a long-term friend that we've known all of our life, named Lisa, she lived in Atlanta. She said, May, there's a new drug that people are taking down here in Atlanta, and people are dropping dead like flies. It's called fentanyl. I said, fentanyl?
First started walking out there 4 years ago. Might would hear about somebody overdosing, I don't know, maybe once a week or a couple times a month or something like that. Now it's every night. Somebody's overdosing. 2 or 3 people overdose. And we actually have guys who we've given Narcan to. Well, it's actually naloxone. Same thing. And we train them how to use it. And these guys out here literally save lives out here. Literally. So.
And my nephew Damien called and he said, Auntie, I need to tell you something. You're going to be upset, but I need for you to just listen. And I said, okay. What is it, Dan? He said, Auntie, don't get upset. I said, what is it? And he said they found Uncle Wonky dead in his house. And I started screaming as loud as I could. To a million pieces.
I don't know. It's still unreal. It was you're really robbed. You feel robbed. It's I don't know. It's just a life snatched away so instant.
I've been there, did that, you know, and I know how it was, you know, and I just can't see myself doing that anymore, you know, because I've been there, did that.
Yeah, I see more hope than anything else out there. I don't know if I would continue to do it if I didn't see that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Hope that somebody will care about them, hope that they'll get their families back. I see women out there who've had their children taken from them, and they say, one day I'm gonna get myself together, I'm gonna get my kids back. So there's a lot of hope out there. There's a lot of faith.